Hello and welcome to another Real Retirement podcast. We're going to talk with Paula today, get her real true story. Paula just retired actually a year ago. She's just celebrating a year recently. And Paula, welcome to the show. How are you? You ready to talk retirement?
Hi, Dan. Thank you for having me. Yes, I am.
All righty. So, how old were you when you retired?
Let's see, I was 64 and a half.
Were you planning that number? Was that always in your head? 64 and a half? That's my magic retirement number?
No. I was thinking about maybe 65. My birthday was going to be in July, and I was thinking about then, but my maximum retirement age is 67. Like to go to that, but I didn't want to work that long. So
Okay. So, how long have you been retired?
February 7th, 2025, I got laid off from work.
So, it's been over a year.
Just that. Yes.
And you got laid off.
Yes, I did.
Tell me more about that.
They did me a favor. Yes, I got laid off. And so I decided to retire at the same time because by the time I would have gotten another job, get on the job training, it would have brought me to my 65, the 6 months. And I said, it's not worth it to just start a new job, go through that stress just to quit. So I just decided I confirmed with my financial advisor. We had talked, we were preparing for this. And we said, I can do it. I said, well, if I can do it, let's do it. So I did. And it worked out well because I had worked for the company for 25 years. So my package was really good. It gave me my 6 months pay, actually. So it worked out real well. Worked out in my favor.
As a severance.
Yes, right.
So timing was perfect.
Yes, it was.
Were you married or at the time?
No.
Okay. So let's go back, let's say more than a year ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
What were you thinking about? How did you feel about retirement and that moment where, well, let's go back to the time you received the notice that you were being let go. Or
Okay.
what were you thinking at that point? What was your initial gut feeling?
Well, the company that I work for, we go through these cycles where they lay people off every, couple of times a year. And, you're always waiting for that, pendulum to drop on you, of when is it going to be my turn, And so I kind of always had that in the back of my mind, but, it's always like you never think it's going to happen to you, but it does. So it was kind of a rude awakening and, scuttlebutt, but I think deep down I was ready for it. I really wanted to retire. I wanted to retire a few years ago before that. But so I was kind of excited in one way, as long as it, the only thing that I was afraid of that I couldn't do it, then I would have been bummed out. But since I was able to do it, it worked out great.
You were fearful at that time or you weren't? Did you have any fears?
Until I talked to my financial advisor to reaffirm that I could, I could swing it, then I was okay with it. But yeah, it was scary until then. Sure.
Swing it money-wise, you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, what did you think of your financial situation at that time? Were you 100% confident?
Before I checked with my advisor,
Yeah.
no, I wasn't 100% confident. I mean, I know I had money, but would it last as long as I would? You know what I mean? So that's my biggest fear is, like everybody else, running out of money.
Okay. And what actually motivated you or influenced you? Was it the laying off? Was that the straw that broke the camel's back, or was something else telling you to get out?
No, that made it easy for me. Yeah, that was a straw.
Do you think you would have stayed and still be working had you not been laid off?
I don't know if I'd still be working now. Probably would have depended on what was going on. There's so many changes that was going on with my job at the time. So unless they really upset me with something, I probably would have put in my resignation in July when my birthday was coming around.
Okay. So were you hoping for the best at the time, or were you confident? Well,
always hoping for the best.
So you weren't 100% confident at that point.
No. Are we ever 100% confident? You never know from one day to the next what's going to happen.
Would it be a fair analogy to say that you were going bungee jumping? Not saying you like to, but you were standing on the bridge and They came and pushed you off?
That's right. Yeah. Just gave me a little nudge.
Okay, so now you've been retired. It's been a year.
Mhm.
What surprised you the most once reflecting back on your retirement so far?
Well, it's something that I had reflected on before this all happened. I was always thinking about, how I was going to adjust because I know it's an adjustment time. And I think the biggest adjustment is having time. What are you going to do with your day? You know, you don't have to get up for 7 o'clock to go to work or 6 o'clock, whatever it is. You know, it's like you don't have a meaning in your life. You don't have a purpose. So what are you going to do now? And, I had listened and read and things, and, people say, just take the first 2 weeks and just do nothing. Just chill and I did. And I got to tell you, I love my mornings.
When was the last time before then that you did nothing for 2 weeks?
Never. It's hard to do nothing for 2 weeks.
Did you did nothing for 2 weeks?
Well, you say nothing, but you always got to do something. But yeah.
Did you think you were going to be able to pull that off? Did that surprise you, being able to do nothing, or quote unquote nothing?
Or not having to do anything, maybe, is a better way of putting it, rather than not doing anything, because I can't just sit there and not do anything all day long. I'd probably go crazy.
Okay.
So, but just the thing that you didn't have to be somewhere at a certain time. If you had to make an appointment, you can make an appointment for whenever. You didn't have to work around lunchtime, or after work or before work, or have to worry about taking time off during work to go for an appointment. That's what was really nice about it. You can do things when everybody else is working, so the crowds are not as crazy, like on the weekends, especially now that, it's been a while. Instead of doing things on the weekend, you do them during the week when there's less people. It's great. It's awesome. Retire.
So what kind of, reflecting back so far, are there any common misconceptions that you'd said that either you had or that a lot of people have about retiring?
I think you got to adjust to it financially. I mean, before I didn't worry so much about money. If I wanted something, I'd just go buy it. I didn't have to look and say, well, let's see, do I have, can I do this or not? More frugal, I think, with what I do. But I got to tell you, with the help of my financial advisor, I've been doing lots of things. I mean, I've been going to Disney parks with my granddaughter. We've gone 3 or 4 different weekends. And so I didn't let that stop me. And went on a cruise last year, a 1-week cruise, and had a great time. And so I'm not denying myself of things. I mean, I might just be more skeptical of doing major things, big things, and so, it's been fine so far.
So you go from just kind of living without a budget because you're working to now you feel obligated to have a budget? Do you feel like you have to think twice before spending?
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't necessarily say with the budget, but yeah, yes, just watching more.
So what kind of things have you gotten wrong? What mistakes have you made so far since retiring?
Mistakes? I don't make mistakes,
None?
Dan. No.
Fair enough. You don't have to make mistakes.
No, I just like to travel more.
Okay.
While I can, because you never know.
So have you traveled as much as you wanted this first year?
Well, I did, the cruise and stuff, but now I want to do another big trip that I said that I do when I retire. So I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
That's going to be a very expensive trip in a while, but if I can do that, then I'd be content.
Okay. So what do you think was the key to being able to pull off what you did so far? What was the key to success?
Planning. Getting with the financial advisor.
Are you a natural planner?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say yes. But biggest thing is for those that haven't retired, or even if you are retiring, my problem was that I had all my eggs in one basket, and that's one thing that my financial advisor really worked with me on, because I had a hard time with trying to let go because I had all my eggs in one basket. And, and it was nerve wracking, not for me, but for my advisor. And so we did work out a plan of how to switch that over into different accounts to spread it out and be more diversified. And thank God I did, because it went, the stocks that I had did go down and almost crash, and I would have lost, I wouldn't have been able to retire. Let me put it that way. So that was a great move. Despite being hesitant, I put my faith in my advisor and I did it. And I was so glad that I did.
So when you say you had all your eggs in one basket, what do you mean by that? What?
With stocks, I had all my stocks invested in the company I was working with.
Okay.
And so it was easy to invest because it was automatic. So it was always there. I did well with it. And luckily I did well with it. And luckily I got out in time. I've been very fortunate in my life, knock on wood, that I've gotten in and out of things at the right times, whether it be buying houses, selling houses, to make the money on the houses and stuff like that. I've been very fortunate. So
part of your compensation at the company you're working for was going into the company stock itself?
Right. You can invest in the stocks that they had. And I
you
took
did?
advantage because we had discounts, and, I took advantage of everything that I could. I maxed out everything, matches, everything to make as much as I could. Well, I just wish I would have been as aggressive I was towards the end as I was when I first started working, because I worked there for 25 years. I wish I would have done that when I was younger, put more in, but, I was putting in a good amount, but I could have put in more and probably done more, but it's okay. I think I did fairly well.
So when you were getting closer to retirement, did you think about the fact that you had all your stock with the company and were working for them? Did that cross your mind? And what made you make a switch away from having that?
Well, I did. And, their stocks always did well. When I first started working for the company, they were really cheap. And of course, then they doubled, split and all that. So, it was a good ride. I got to say, it was a great ride. And so, when you get a good thing, you hate to let go of it.
Mm-hmm.
But, all things come to an end. The hay rides don't always last. So I know I was taking my chance and maybe going to the well a little bit too much. So,
okay.
Yeah, if it wouldn't have been for my advisor, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Okay.
So I'm very fortunate and glad that I did do it.
Anything you wish you did differently going into retirement, leading up to it, besides saving earlier, like you said?
Yeah, that diversifying. No, I can't think of anything.
Okay. So now it's a year later, right? So we've had a decent chunk of time, not a lot. Did it go by quickly?
Too fast.
Yeah.
It still goes by fast. And people say that they don't know what they're going to do with themselves when they retire. I don't think I'll ever have that problem. I always have something to do. Always. And if I don't, I'll find something.
Do you feel you made the right decision retiring when you did?
I think so. I'll tell you that in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if I'm still kicking.
What have you liked the most about your retirement so far? What's been your favorite part?
Having the time to spend with my grandchildren, not having to have the restriction of time. So that if there's things going on in the afternoon, I could do them. Or if we're going away, I don't have to worry about working until 5 and having to leave at 7, 8 o'clock or whatever. That's nice. I love my mornings, not having to get that alarm clock, even though I do use it. But it's just nice to just lay there and, oh, it's beautiful.
When you're laying there in the morning, do you think about how you're not being financially productive and how you could be working, earning, and saving?
No.
You don't miss that? You don't?
No, I don't. I don't miss work. I might miss the income, but no, I don't miss work. No. It was getting really stressful at the end. And really, I think that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. So, I probably would have felt differently if it wasn't for that. But, yeah.
What is your least favorite part about your retirement so far?
My least favorite?
Yeah.
Of course, it's not having that money, the big money coming in, you know?
The paycheck is gone?
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Anything keeping you up at night now?
No.
You have no worries going forward?
No.
Okay.
Well, just my health probably, you know, it's just, you know, you always hope that your health stays well and, you know, that's about it. Like to travel, you know, like I said before, like to do more of that.
Do you feel you're set up to do that, or is something holding you back?
I don't know. I've thought about different things to do with traveling instead of, you know, getting a trailer but, you know, we've talked about that back and forth, and is it worth it, have it? And then you got to find a place to put it and rent it. And, you know, probably be better off just getting one and renting one for a week or two or a month or whatever and give the headaches back.
Instead of buying an RV.
Right.
Okay. It's a good problem to think about, right?
Yeah, right.
So knowing what you know now, it's been a year, would you have retired at the same time? Or would you have retired earlier, or would you still or retired later?
No, I wouldn't have retired earlier because I wanted to make the money. But would I retired then in February of last year? No. Maybe July. July would have been the earliest that I would have retired.
Okay.
Thinking that you know, because I don't want to collect Social Security. I want to try to go until my max. And so I wouldn't have retired earlier. So.
Okay. What advice would you give someone that's thinking about retirement right now, that's not yet retired, that is on the fence or isn't sure? What advice would you give them? What would you
Do
tell
it.
them to do?
Do it.
Without knowing their situation.
Do it. Get a financial advisor if you don't, to have them check it out and you know, see if you're on the right path. You know, I wouldn't do something foolish. I mean, if I didn't have investments, I wouldn't have retired. You know.
Anything else you want to say about retirement in general?
It's wonderful. It's just wonderful.
Particularly in the morning.
It's what everybody says. And then some. Yeah, it's great.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your story. Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you for having me.